That looks like it might be the Friends portfolio.
No, 18,000? No. So these are the people that make the world's largest gummy bear. And this is what they have for their employee pages, right? This is on everybody's Christmas wish list.
I was going to say, now I know what I want for my birthday. See, I got the Kalyn check up there.
Yeah, I do. You can do it real quick and wait for the results.
Now that would make for an amazing podcast. A Kalyn check. You get it. You're calling in and getting updates. What's going on? The paper came off. I fell on the floor.
We just have a little test strip in the vinyl thing that you can drop on there.
Oh, damn it.
Like, my dignity.
I know. You get, obviously when you're 20-something years into marriage or 40-something years into a sibling relationship, you obviously get a little more comfortable with each other, but for somehow, poop is off the table no matter 100%, what.
100%, yeah. I mean, the amount I talked about it last time was I saw your discomfort. I don't know. I guess the rule I live by is I only want to hear about it if it's truly exceptional. So if it's hot pink or neon green or something like that, or lasted for 4 hours straight, just a constant situation, then go ahead and mention it. But otherwise, I don't want to know. But I felt like
your experience was truly exceptional. It turns out,
shitting on the floor and stuff. Something I don't recall ever doing before in my life. So,
but when would you cross the line to actually either witnessing the process or the outcome of another human being medical emergency? Right.
Right. If you were somehow incapacitated, I would of course help you with whatever necessary. But I wouldn't talk to you about it.
This stays between. Never shall we mention this again.
Right. Yeah, your wife is such a trooper when it comes to that kind of stuff. I remember the dog had a problem with his business, and sometimes his little lipstick needed to go back in the tube. Whatever. And I was like, let
the dog die. I'm not touching that.
I don't want to deal with it at all. Thank God Ash never had anything like that. But when Mom had, after her liver surgery, when she had cancer, she had a drain, so I had to help flush the drain tubes and stuff, and it was awful. It was. The stuff itself is gross, but then Mom doesn't feel well, obviously, and you kind of have to be basically she can't have on pants, or it has to have her shirt lifted so I can get to the so I'm and I have to be down there, so I'm basically right up against Mom's hoo-ha, and and of course she had on underwear and everything, but
oh right,
but
but there will come a day you have to be in Mom's hoo-ha and not have underwear involved.
Yeah.
We all go back to this phase where, like you said, got to set that dignity aside.
Right, yeah. God. Things I'm not looking forward to, that's pretty high up on the list.
Well, I think about this, too, because I know it's going to fall on you because you're the one who lives in Houston. Yeah. I mean, who knows where you'll be 30 years from now when they are approaching 105.
Yeah, right. I plan to die first.
Okay.
Let Ariel deal with it.
Right. No, the way you drive, that is not impossible.
Yeah. Right. I've heard of so many families, siblings who become totally estranged and hate each other after a parent dies and they're fighting over this or that, whether it's money or an object, you know. And I'm I am absolutely dedicated to that not being our story, I've there are things that I'd like to have, I guess.
Yeah.
Not very many of them, but some.
If you take that porcelain dragon, I will.
Robert, it's over. You are not my brother.
Now, the one we'll get estranged from is Ariel, because...
we're already on our way.
Well,
just kidding.
Tell me if this is an impossible scenario for you to imagine. You do a whole bunch of work, toward the end of their days and past the end of their days, and you... want something or a disproportionate amount of something, as compensation for this. And I'm not talking about money, but I'm talking about, I
get first dibs on shit at the house.
Yeah, there's 10 figurines and you want 6 of them,
right.
And then she doesn't think that's fair, and you're you didn't do shit. So anyway, and then that estranges you for a period. I can't. It's not hard for me to imagine that at all.
Right. I don't know. I'm not a minimalist by any stretch, but I also don't give a fuck about stuff, really. Everything has kind of become disposable to me. I mean, the things that I am the most attached to in my own home are art especially art that I made. But even that, I'm like, whatever. I don't know. I do have sentimental attachment to some things, but I don't see any of that stuff in mom and dad's house. Like, there's nothing there that I'm going to be like...
Well, the Braveheart CD.
I mean, we're going to war over that, for sure.
The photocopy picture of the Civil War guy in my room.
It will be fun to go through the chest of drawers in your room because there's so much stuff. Like, the phase where you, like, painted figurines for...
Yeah,
like,
that stuff's here. The figurines are here.
They're
in the basement. No, there's no chance all of it. No.
Yeah, because I think there's still paints and stuff.
Oh, paints for yeah. Here's some dried out. Mom would hang out onto the dried out paint, and if you tried to throw it out, she'd be like,
"That's Robert's. That's Robert's." I'm like, "Yeah, you never know when Robert's gonna come back for this paint." Same as those flip flops that we found of his that were like just $2 flip flops, and Mom's like, no, those are your brothers.
I could have used those. I went out and bought slides just a couple weeks ago for the hot tub.
You should have told Mom. She would have mailed them for like $15 up here. Like, I'm not joking.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
But, I don't know.
Humans are so dumb. When it comes to love and money, it's just...
Yeah.
I have one more on this topic. I did not know this, people, but I heard it on the radio. Bottom line of this story, when you fill in your 401k information, right? One of the part is what happens, who transfer to whom on death, right?
Yeah.
So this guy fires up his 401k in 1985 or whatever. He's dating this broad for like a couple months. He puts her name on it. They break up. Life goes on. He forms a family, moves on to other companies, forgets all about this 401k. Meanwhile, it compounds,
right?
You know, at the rate of the S&P 500 for 40 years.
Man.
It's worth a couple $1 million.
Damn.
And this woman who like dated him for 3 months, you know, gets this money. And the kids are, of course, battling this in court. You know, they're fighting this. It's enough money. You have to go fight for it.
Absolutely.
But
it could be a lot less money, and I think it'd be worth fighting for, like $100,000. The girlfriend from 20 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, it was $3.2 million.
I need to check mine.
Yeah, check your things. Or leave it blank, for God's sake.
Yeah, right. The probate lawyer will get it transferred to like your family if you die, right? I mean,
don't put the girlfriend until you're real serious, you know?
Until you're married. Yeah. It's like life insurance. I don't know. My friend January was dating this one guy who I've mentioned before. And they were indeed pretty serious. For some reason. At one point, he was like, "So, what have you filled out your life insurance?" And I'm like, "Y'all aren't even married. What the fuck? This is how murders happen.
Yeah.
Like, this is exactly how many stories I've heard." I was like,
right, and you are an expert, so.
I am. Yeah. I'm like, what? You absolutely not. Like, they proceeded to get in a fight about it. And he's like, "Well, you know, if we break up, then what happens with me in this house?" And she's like, "The house that I bought and paid for, you leave. That's what happens with you in the house. You don't stay here."
You know, it's this podcast is not about financial advice, but it's so funny. Like, you go to a cocktail party and someone else brings up that you've got this podcast and it's about finances, and I'm kind of like, it is. And then people are like, "Well, what do you think of NVIDIA? So I buy more NVIDIA." And I'm like, you have definitely not listened to our podcast if you're asking me.
I know, like that. Yeah, we're the closest we're ever going to get to financial advice. And that's like, you should probably get a will.
You need to get a will. This is the second piece of advice we've given in 31 episodes. 1, you need a job. 2, you need a will.
Yeah.
And spend less than you earn. That's advice number 3.
Yeah.
Kalyn, that seems like it's as good a place as any to get the episode started. What do you think? All right, cue the music. You are listening to the Robert and Kalyn Talk About Wills and Death show. Just kidding. This is Robert and Kalyn Get Rich. Maybe the way we will get rich is from a will or etc. I'm fingers crossed. This is episode 31.
Yeah.
Today is November 23rd, 2024. It is a Saturday. This is one of our weird Saturday episodes. When I say one of, I mean the only one. But maybe when we get to like episode 500, we'll have a half dozen Saturday episodes. Kalyn is in town visiting from Houston, Texas. Kalyn, by the way, is Kalyn Kimmel, the host of the show, and I'm Robert Kimmel, the other host of this show. We talk about wills and deaths and anything else. We're the world's only comedy, personal finance podcast in the whole stinking world. But the one thing we do not do
give financial or investment advice.
That's it, right. If you like our non-advice and you want to hear about NVIDIA, leave a comment or send us an email, robertandkalyngetrich@gmail.com. Kalyn is Kalyn. And as always, please smash the like button, the subscribe button, the forward button, the ratings of 5 stars button, all of the above. Please do it all.
And send it on to your friends and family and anyone else you have in your life that you might or might not put in a will.
Absolutely. Somebody could will recordings of our podcast to their...
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice? Like, we have a gift for you. A box set of Robert and Kalyn Get Rich, episodes 1 through 31.
To my eldest daughter, I leave the estate.
I bequeath thee.
Eldest daughter gets $100 million and the property in Maryland. My second youngest daughter, you get the jet and the Rolls Royce. And to my son, I bequeath.
The Robert and Kalyn Get Rich podcast, available on Apple Podcasts.
You can pull down.
Yeah, that would be nice. I think the third one got the best gift.
Oh my God.
Best inheritance.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, let's see.
It's been a lot of happening in the market.
Yeah.
I'm very curious how we're doing.
Yeah. Do you know what happened with the S&P 500 today?
I do not.
Well, nothing happened. It's Saturday, so I didn't trade.
Trick question.
Exactly.
Man.
That looks like it might be the Friends portfolio.
No. 18,000? No.
Okay, maybe not. That's our portfolio. Speaking of 18s, we're up 18%.
Oh, look out.
Very strong end of the week for us.
Look at that Fannie Mae.
Yeah, Fannie Mae, I worry if it goes back to zero. Maybe we should sell half that position and then play with house money.
Yeah. I know we were talking about this a little last night, just on the side. This is something that I'm very curious about exploring in general, because obviously, as you know, I don't sell anything ever, but I don't think that that's the best approach, because obviously, with Chicken Soup for the Soul, we could have made a mint on that.
Yeah.
And we didn't.
This is
we
key.
lost it all.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
we're setting up Roth IRAs for the kids.
Oh.
Don't you wish that our parents had put $5,000 into a Roth IRA when we were 15?
Yeah.
I mean,
or zero. Like, if you had done that the day that Kiara was born.
Oh, I got to tell you this, though. Here's the part about Roth IRAs. To put money in a Roth, you have to have earned income. You have to work. You can put no more in a Roth than your earned income.
Okay.
So these two hardworking children of mine have
Cody made money?
Have worked their asses off in our company. What they did is they thought hard about, they put a strategy together for our website and our marketing campaign. Now, we have not executed on these strategic visions.
Not yet. Still under review.
It's still under review. And, of course, we paid them healthy consulting rates for this.
Right.
But
$5,000.
Yes, all this effort. I think the limit right now is $8,000 or $9,000, so they've done really well.
So they might get a little bit of a bonus.
Yeah,
because they did such a good job.
There's a lot about this right now about wealth transfer. Because boomers are getting older, but they're living longer, right? And so the children's generation, our generation, right, and our children's generation, like the time they need money, is not when you die at 85 and they're 55. They've gotten over the hump at this point, right? Or 60 or whatever.
Right.
What they need money is when they have young children, their first So
I feel like our family's so tight-lipped about money and to the idea of talking about money.
Do you think it's because they were of this generation where you work for one company and you have a pension? Whereas I'm I got to train my kids to save into a 401k, to save even more than a 401k. You can't rely on Social Security. You're not gonna get a pension. They don't know exactly, again, how much money we have. I'm not even sure I know how much money we have, but exactly. But they know here's a big bucket, and they know how big that is, and they know of the other buckets. And I'm we're putting this into this portfolio because. And Kiara's this is so boring. But I'm Kiara, I have to tell you these things.
This knowledge must be transferred to you.
Again, the financial education we received from our parents. I do remember, 2 lessons in life with money, basically. Hold on to it like it's gold. Yes. Do not spend the money, period, if you can get Again, we're guessing how much our parents get a sense for what they make. And it's well, we can buy a car if we want to, but
Yeah, but we will drive this one until it is embarrassingly falling apart.
Yeah.
As like.
But then, like, wedding day, Dad's like, all right, here it is. This is the life advice. A man who spends less than he earns is happy. A man who spends more than he earns is unhappy. God bless.
That's what he said?
More or less.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. I didn't know that.
Which, I mean, you can do worse than that
for sure.
Yeah. How about the S&P 500, Kalyn?
Oh,
How do you think that's done?
pretty good.
It has done pretty good.
Not as good as us, though.
No, hell no. You can't do as good as us because we are smart.
Yeah. We're
Anyway.
finally back in black.
Yeah, finally. Thank God. Anyway, S&P's up to 9.5%.
That's great,
since
though,
we
man.
started.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. If you're not as smart as us, you should be putting your money in the
Yeah.
S&P 500.
Right.
Watch, that statement will get us sued because somebody will do that, then it'll crash. Remember, it's not financial advice, but
Right. I don't think that we're the first people to say that. Go
the hedge fund guys that come on all these podcasts are like, look, it's hard. This is hard.
Right.
I'm, of course, a genius. That's why I have $1 billion, but you're too dumb to do it, so you should be in the S&P 500.
So, on that level, how much do you think that it's them being geniuses versus them being particularly lucky at points, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely serves these guys well to be like, I'm a genius, listen to me, whatever. Like, makes it very, like, esoteric knowledge that not anyone could replicate.
And most of them aren't arrogant about that. It's more of a humility thing. And they're like, listen, I've been wrong more times than I've been right. And one of these billionaires I was listening to just the other day, he was basically like, yeah, okay, so you're a Bitcoin guy. All right, he bought a winning lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Is the lesson from that you should go buy lottery tickets? Or is the lesson that, people once in a while get rich on lottery tickets? I don't,
Yeah, this is something I'm just kind of rolling around in my head. If I'm going to just invest in the S&P 500, or I want to invest in the super safe companies, the Walmarts, Visa, MasterCard, whatever, what percentage of income do you think is smart to put in that kind? Essentially like a safe, but also potentially has...
But has upside.
Right.
Well, I do have to wonder how safe all these things... A couple of thoughts rattling around my head. So the answer is 5%.
Okay. Cool. Next.
Okay. Other billionaire I was listening to. Not that you knew who the first one was.
Yeah.
Take that picture of the first billionaire you had in your head. Set that aside. Now imagine a new billionaire.
New old man who's white.
How did you know? Yeah, and Jewish.
Now he's got a yarmulke,
yarmulke.
a menorah on. He's like carrying a menorah.
The Jewiest Jew you could have.
Curls, a yarmulke, menorah.
One of those huge round hats. You've seen those things?
Sorry.
All right, so this new billionaire now, we're on to Howard. We've gone from Cliff Asness to Howard Marks. You might really enjoy this. It was a fascinating talk that he gave. But he's more into bonds than into stocks. That's where he made his billions, was on bonds, which is amazing. I don't know how you do it. But
I was going to say. Yeah.
But he was basically saying, look, an A-rated bond, top rating, right? There's only one way for the A-rated bond to go.
Right.
Right? It can only go down. So you either perform as well as you expect to perform.
Or worse.
Right? You either get the 4% on this bond or less. You pick a double B rated bond, you get the range of outcomes of it performs worse, it performs better, or it performs to expectations.
Right.
So now if you can be really good at, and this is what I've focused my career on over 35 years, is not picking winners, but avoiding the losers and cutting off that end of the tail. Now I can make a lot more money. So your Walmart and, all these, these safe stocks that are, this is what retirees do. They invest in, it was always utilities, right? They invest in utilities and then they get the dividends. And that's, there's
Dad
only
just talked about that the other day. He's like, I want to know if this has dividends, though. About something at random. I can't even remember what we were talking about, but he's like, interesting. But this doesn't pay dividend. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
See, a dividend to me is something you have to pay taxes on when that wasn't really the thing you wanted, right?
Yeah,
like
I do dividend reinvesting on all my.
You still have to pay tax on the dividend, so you're probably in the 0% tax bracket. But you're gonna get this whatever, I forget what it's called, 10K or something.
Yeah, no, I give all the right stuff to my account,
and so your accountant is having you pay
But it's good to have a crooked accountant. That I'll say. There's a couple of crooked people I want in my life. I want an accountant who's like, we can kind of, we can fudge these numbers a little.
This is not investing advice, but advice number 5.
Yeah.
Find yourself a crooked accountant.
Yeah.
Not too crooked.
Not too crooked, yeah.
One key of a crooked accountant is they can't tell you they're a crooked accountant.
Yeah.
Or else
Right.
then now you know, and now you're culpable. So it's funny. I was going to bring up dividends. It'll come up later in our conversation.
So, yeah.
But
Okay. Now I'm feeling like super retarded. So when I buy a stock, so some of mine I know that they've asked me if I want dividend reinvesting or not on my account or whatever. And I'm like, yep, sure. Because I don't know.
that should be the default setting is
Right.
yes.
Okay. So if like I buy a stock, it's valued $1 per share, and then it increases to $1.50. That 50-cent growth is that the dividend?
That's the capital gain.
Okay. Then what's the
If you
what is the dividend? What is it?
Like a company can do a couple things with its cash. You know, it does business, it makes money, the money results in cash. You can invest it in stuff, right? Your next line of business. You can acquire companies. You can buy back stock. You can give it as bonuses to your amazing management, like the CEO of Spirit Airlines.
$3 million, right?
Almost 4.
Yeah.
Or you can give it out as dividends to
Shareholders. Okay. I don't know. I just feel like I've given all the right stuff to my accountant, but I don't remember anything being enough that I was like paying fucking any taxes basically on the dividends because I thought it was because I had them reinvested. Like
I feel like with taxes, it's like you pull it all in the bucket and then out the bottom is like, now you owe this much in taxes. Like,
Right.
do you knowing which and how much of that was from the dividends versus most of it's going to be from your income, obviously.
Right. But I mean, like the statements that I was getting were like not big numbers at all that were like being reported back to the IRS.
Yeah.
Taxes are so fucking crazy anyways. Like
They
it's
are.
like the IRS knows how much you owe. They know already. But they're like, you go figure it out. and if you do it wrong, we're gonna take you to fucking jail. like what's that? Like you already know the answer, but what? Like why do I have to figure it out on my own?
I think, yeah.
I don't know. It's just
Look, you kill yourself to get a return, you know.
I know, yeah.
You want a 10% return on your investment, let's say.
Right.
Right?
And then the government's like, I want half of that. Like,
They don't get half if you're, you know.
right.
So
And I want to find somebody who knows how to do all those like loophole things, you know. You like
crooked accountant guy?
Yeah, I mean right. And like, so if I do move this here and do this there, then like this counts as a loss, whatever. Like, you know, I set up a charity organization, then like I invest into that, then like that money gives me like it's a tax-free thing, but that's like with the, you know, that kind of thing, whatever.
I know who to call. Chicken Soup for the Soul guy.
Right? I know. We should hire that guy.
That guy's crooked as shit, man.
Yeah.
He'll set up a charity. He did this. Like
Right.
half his revenue from Chicken Soup was from a charity that he
it's
founded.
like, right. This parent organization, who's also owned by us, like gives this bonus that's like has to be donated, whatever.
Yeah.
Like all of that kind of. I'm like, I need to know how to do this, and I want to do it right now.
Honestly, Andre, Her Majesty, the other day is like, do you think we ought to find new accountants? Like, do you think there's an accountant out there that could figure out how to take the sale of the company? And
100% there is. I mean, like Trump's got that account, like went to jail twice for him. I mean, shit.
Is my money enough to go to jail for?
mean,
I don't know.
But see, is your money enough to like go through so thoroughly that they find them? My account's like, you're never gonna get audited ever. Like because I don't make enough that it would be worth their time. But like also because it's an accountant who's like putting their stamp on it, the IRS is like, great. Bye. Like, you're at a higher risk level. I mean, and whatever. But like, still, if you're thinking about it in the scheme of things, like,
I'm exactly at the level that they do audit heavily and are the type of people who would cheat. You know, the small business owners and stuff like that's the IRS's bread and butter for sending to jail. But yeah, no, I've had the accountant who was like, he's like, well, what were your donations? And I'm like, no. What? He's like, it was $500.
They always choose 500. I think that's the max level that they won't look into.
He's like, listen, you've donated 500. I promise you don't have the receipt.
Absolutely, you have.
No, this stuff will make your head spin, man. We got introduced to this concept when we sold the business, which is you open an account, you put the money. This is money that you are going to donate in the future.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you put in the amount of money today, and it's counted as a donation this year.
Oh, yeah.
And then it compounds and it does all this, and then the money goes to the whatever you designate the charities in the future.
You earn the interest on the compounding, whatever.
I don't. You never get this money again. I don't get this money, but
the growth part though. Like if you put that money in a savings account, $5,000, and it's at 4% interest.
Yeah.
Did the charity get that 4% that it's gaining over that time, or you get that money, they get the 5,000
I don't know.
as you allocated?
I don't know if you can ever get any of it back or how much or which pieces at what tax rate or penalties. So you get this $100 bucks.
Like, I'm donating the interest that I've made. Also, that's part of my donation. Use that piece the next year.
Yeah, so guys, if there's any crooked accountants out there can answer this question,
totally reach out. Like, we're very interested in working.
Kalyn is Kalyn at
Gmail. Yeah,
Gmail. Robert and Kalyn get rich. Yeah. You are part of the backbone of our plan to get rich.
Absolutely.
One thing we are not going to do to get rich is pay any attention to our friends who have been investing in such trash as Pulte Homes, which is down 10%. But I will say Starbucks, man, it just won't stop. 4.3%. Wow. But they got a long way to go if you're going to catch us at 18%.
That's right.
What's actually going to happen is we're going to come crashing down to what the hell is this? Etsy wants...
Please open that again and show our viewers.
Can I make? I can't make this. Wait a minute, I haven't. I gotta share it.
I don't know what that thing is, but I want it. Okay, share that screen.
Share this screen. The Rock Fidget Slug.
So yeah, this is on everybody's Christmas wish list.
I was gonna say, now I know what I want for my birthday. Wait, the sale ends December 4th. Folks, you've got to get on this.
Yeah, only a few days left.
And they have 15, almost 16,000 positive reviews.
Great gift for the perfect quirky friend. Oh, yeah. I mean, Etsy does have like the weirdest shit in the world.
There's a couple of just things that this is going to be the potpourri. You know, this is the potpourri bag of random stuff that I thought was worthy of podcast discussion. First thing, I know American society is coming to an end, not because of the Trump election, but a surge in breast reductions.
Oh my God.
Breast reduction surgeries are on the rise, and breast implants are falling.
Not by much.
70,000 women.
So, I mean, for a reduction, I think this has more to do with the obesity crisis than almost all the women that I know that have had reductions. Yeah. It was like, these are people that one of them said that after she had a baby, like they just didn't stop. And so like she was like, I was worried I was gonna like smother my child when I fed him, you know, like and like I'm in constant pain, like size Q or something like that, like just some not like the standard assortment of sizes, but like
I like size Q actually.
I know you do. I know you're a boob guy.
Listen, the more letters and the higher the letter. I am not for this breast reduction trend. I'm going to go on record right now. Our podcast does not stand for this. And we're going to take on the Mars family and the breast reduction industrial complex.
That's right. Because that cannot stand. I don't care, ladies, if your back hurts, you have to wear 7 bras at the time just to like keep them above deck. Like
remember, happy husband, happy
life.
Doesn't quite work.
Yeah.
All right. Do you know who Coach Bill Belichick was?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, fine. I didn't
Patriots.
know if he was famous or not.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, he's got a podcast. I mean, can you imagine? Here's a guy who's like, "Hey, Bill Belichick, you want to come sit in this room and talk about football for 20 minutes?"
Yeah. I mean, I got to think that if you are a football coach at that level, the amount of time you spend thinking about football.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about anything that much. You got to be so in the weeds all the time on, and you're watching film and you're creating plays and like all of that just constantly. So, I mean, when you retire, it's not too surprising that you're like, I got to talk to somebody about football because what the fuck? Like, I got this.
And these guys want to pay me $1 million to sit around and talk about football?
I mean, my wife's like, I will not listen to you talk about a quarterback again. We're done with that. Now we talk about gardening.
I know. Like, dating and marrying these guys must be hard. I mean, you think dad talking about marathons is bad? Like freaking Bill Belichick?
Unbearable. Like, you got to be a very independent person who's like, I do love you, but like, I understand that I will rarely see you.
You know the rule, Bill. No talking football at the dinner table.
We are talking about roses and tulips, and that's it. We talk about gardening, and we can also talk about cooking. No other topics.
No football.
No football. Yeah. I'm like, man, I wonder if you did a survey and everybody was really honest. You're like, okay, You have a set amount of money that you have for the rest of your life, period.
Yep, right.
Do you still play football professionally?
Right.
You don't get paid more. You have this amount of money. Everyone lives on it. And I don't know how many of them would. I don't know.
Some of them love it.
Yeah, some of them certainly do love it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I got to believe that a lot of them are like, fuck no, I'm not playing football.
Yeah.
Why would I risk breaking my neck?
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
or like eating this like crazy diet, like we talk about with Tom Brady, with people walking around being like, eat these 3 Ps.
Yeah.
Eat them now. Too late.
You missed your window, Tom. Eat the damn peas when I hold it up to your mouth, son. Exactly. No, I remember Patrick Brantley, my best man, brought this up in a conversation with Andrea once, and she didn't really believe it. But he's like, you remember, like, practice kind of sucked, and it was kind of boring, and, like, playing's kind of boring. Like, there's a lot of, like, you got to drop back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then, and that's at crappy high school level. Can you imagine at pro level just how scripted you are, where you're supposed to be? And at the end of the day, it's kind of boring. And I watch a football play, and I'm like, the thing as a whole is exciting.
Yeah.
But that dude's job, who every single play is to stand up and push the other guy.
Right. Seriously. Yeah. And
And sometimes those are the guys who love it the most. I'm like, I don't know what you get into, but you just like,
Yeah.
Step back and, that's your job.
Right.
This whole play. Yeah. And that guy's job is way more fun than the fullback who's called in for 3 plays in a damn game.
Right.
Practices his ass off all week long,
Right.
Yeah.
A lot
for 70 hours a week.
Right. Like
for 3 chances, and if you screw that up, or like the guy who holds the
right, like special teams people or whatever.
I remember an interview of a long snapper, and he's like, "Yeah, what I do is every day of the week I show up, I practice long snaps, and my goal is for every single one of those to be the perfect long snap, and then I think about it, and I think about how can I make the next long snap better." And I'm like, God bless you, man.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, and even if you're like the coach, like you're thinking about football that much, that's too much for me. But that's even more boring because you're just thinking about, okay, shit, like better. Okay.
Oh wait, the laces were here and they need to be here.
Right. Like mental rehearsing. It's like, man, you'd be great on like a assembly line. You're like, okay, this is good. Better. You're doing better at putting this piece of plastic into this one. Like,
I think there's some of that. Some of these guys are really smart too, but some of them are getting their soul sucked out for money, basically. So while you're conducting these surveys of football players or anybody, right? The question to ask is like, all right, we'll give you $10 million, but you're going to live the rest of your life in pain, and basically all the money's going to go to your family. You taking this deal? A lot of people take that deal.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people might even take the deal like, hey, we'll give you $10 million. We'll give your family $10 million. You got to die.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who take that deal.
Right. And I mean, certainly when like if you're in a very bad situation, then like there's like a reason to.
No, I mean, there's insurance fraud, life insurance fraud happens. With,
But right.
That's why there's a no suicide clause in the life insurance, basically.
Yeah.
But
you gotta make it look like a murder.
Listen. Couple of rules of thumb for insurance fraud. Make it look like a murder. Have a will, people. Don't make your family fight over this money you got from the insurance company.
Seriously.
You took this act. Like, you don't want the kids getting in fights over this.
Right. If you're killing yourself for the insurance money, make sure it's allocated the way you want it to be allocated.
I mean, Jesus. You have some agency.
Follow through. Like.
People, plan ahead. You have some agency in life. This is the best episode ever. Speaking of, perfect segue. Insurance fraud.
Yay!
Human in a bear suit was used to defraud insurance companies, officials say. Footage of a bear rifling through luxury cars was submitted to insurance companies, which paid out $140,000.
Oh, a fake bear. Okay.
Yeah. So this guy was wearing this bear suit. He was using these things that are for like tenderizing meat.
Right.
There's the bear. Get in the car. For you listeners, there's what is clearly not a bear getting into a grainy black and white photo of a video and going in and evidently scratching up the seats of this luxury car.
There's moments where I'm like, okay, maybe that could pass for an animal, but plenty of it that's like, okay, so you just sat down in the seat like a person does. Probably not the way. That's awesome.
So evidently, they didn't the way they didn't catch these guys was not the video, but like the claw marks didn't look like bear claw marks. You can kind of see it. I mean, bear claws are quite spread out, and these are.
Well, you're not going to have perfectly uniform lines for sure.
meat shredding handles. So this is what you make, you know, whatever.
If you're doing pulled pork or something, you would pull it apart with that kind of thing. Yeah.
Guys, do not use your pulled pork things to shred your leather seats.
If you're going to try to defraud someone, like do a little better work on, you know.
Plan ahead.
Right, yeah. Look into like what would be best here. Maybe do a test run on a shitty car.
What is the sequence of events that leads somebody to have a luxury automobile, but then is like, what I really need is insurance money from this automobile.
But they still want to have, like, I don't get it. Why not just drive it into a tree?
Or sell it.
Like, yeah, right. Like,
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess if you have the insurance payout, then you still can.
Then you can fix it, have the. Yeah, but
it's a lot of money for $140,000. I don't know what kind of car it was.
But no. This happened across multiple cars.
Oh, they did the same scam over and over. They're like, man, these fucking bears, they keep breaking into my car and scratching shit up. I hate it. It's so annoying. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm leaving like bear food in the car and leaving all of the doors open, but.
This is like a criminal ring of guys, like a very small ring, but they're like. It was like 5 or 6 of these cars.
You know what these guys needed is that same mentality of how I can make this snap better every time and then improve. You know, iterative improvement on your bear scratching up the inside of car.
Guys, watch the tape and think about it. Next time, how can I scratch the seats a little better?
Right.
1% better.
Yeah,
every
exactly.
Single time.
How can I make this a little more believable? I mean, that's crazy. I would never think of that.
So I went to Citigroup and I pulled their third quarter earnings presentation.
Yeah.
And I feel like I know this stuff pretty well, but first of all, there's so much text. I'm just like, And then these guys, they have stuff I had never heard about. Row TC, CT1, and it's chart after chart, and and I'm just like, yeah.
What did they say that was? Like it said that number one, like it would have a footer.
Row TC1. All footnotes are presented starting on slide 32. Okay, so you want to get to the good stuff? Let's go down to slide 32. First of all, here's your glossary.
Oh, God.
So you got to read this glossary.
There it is.
Return on average tangible common equity.
Oh, of course.
But there's all this stuff. It just made my head spin.
Yeah.
I'm like, here's all the footnotes. You want to read?
I do. I really. Let's print this out. Like, how many pages is it?
This is what the billionaire guys do: is they read these footnotes.
Yeah,
and that's
I like Warren Buffett. I can see it 100%. Like, no, we should watch a documentary about him. But yeah, I guess I just don't care enough about making money to like.
Well, there's some of that. That's part of why he's a billionaire and you're not to some extent.
Yeah.
So then I went to the charts. I wanted to test, my charting skills, we're making...
Those are candlesticks, right? With the two-ended candlesticks.
Yeah, and they're making higher lows. Mm-hmm. This is the 50-day moving average, the red line, and it's still above the 200-day moving average, and it's all sloping up. It all looks very copacetic.
Yeah.
This gap and this letter D, what does the letter D stand for? Dividend.
Oh.
So they paid a 56-cent dividend.
They do it regularly.
Yes, most companies that pay dividends do it every quarter. So they're paying a quarterly dividend. The dividend's gone up. Companies hate failing to pay the dividend, so you can usually count on that. So I like that. I like the way the chart looked. I like the dividend payment. So that would be $2.24 on a $70 stock. So what is that? 3%?
Yeah.
Something like that.
$2.
So you get 3% in the bank. So I liked all that. And I liked, if you go to statistics, they're pretty cheap. 20 times earning in this day and age and 9.5 times forward earnings.
Yeah.
Is not too bad.
The researchers on my app say, am I on Citigroup? Anyway, like
this would be very typical. Oh, we bought Citigroup because these researchers said that this other
at Citigroup. Yeah, on my Citigroup app, they're like strong buy, definitely buy.
I was thinking they all said Reddit was a strong buy, and so we bought Citigroup. That's how we do things at the Robert and Kalyn Get Rich podcast.
Yeah. Anyway. They are all in the green one. But some of them call themselves overweight and some say long.
Yep.
Whatever that means. But
this is not financial advice.
Overweight. Like, you guys need to trim down your fat.
Overweight your portfolio.
But yeah, so we started looking at Citigroup because they were the C ticker. Yeah,
that's right.
Right. Yeah.
So next time, Dominion Energy. But
look out.
Did I put together enough of a case to convince you that we should invest
we should
in
buy Citigroup.
Citigroup.
I'm in. Yeah.
All right.
I think they seem safe.
We are adding Citigroup safe. We're not looking for safe. We're looking to get rich. But
yeah, I mean they're moving in the right direction. But I mean,
but you get an almost guaranteed 2 or 3 whatever that percentage dividend yield. You get almost guaranteed 3%.
right.
So then you're also hoping for some value inflation.
Right.
So
yeah.
could it work out? Yeah, it could work out. Maybe stranger things have happened.
I think we should do it.
All right, we should do that.
Yeah.
The other thing we should do is talk about OkCupid stats.
So basically, OkCupid gathered all kinds of data from their daters. So they decided to plot out. So this one on the left. So this is the woman's age and their ideal age for a man. So if I'm a 20-year-old, I want a 23-year-old guy. And it sort of changes over to being younger. That's what this dotted line is.
Yep.
You know, we're getting crazy over here when we're like 46, I guess. We want a 38-year-old. But generally, it stays pretty much the same. By contrast... This is what the men, same story. There's a men's age and what their ideal female partner age-wise would be.
This is awful.
Yes.
Wow.
I was like, okay, let me tell you right now, 50-year-old men, a 22-year-old is not the right partner for you.
Yeah.
100% of the time. I don't care how sophisticated she may be. I can't even my
47-year-old, I mean, at least they graduated from college. My 47-year-old cohort wants to date 20-year-olds.
I mean, yeah.
College girls?
Yeah. They can't even drink. Where will you take them? Like, you can't even order a drink at the bar with them.
Wow.
And so I'm hoping, my fingers are very, very crossed that these were the answers because it's OkCupid. And so it's like, you're not really dating seriously or whatever. Like, you're just for funsies.
Women expire after college, says one of the commenters.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but all right. Now this title, we're not sharing anymore, but the title of the post that posted those graphs was dating preference and age. And then the titles of the graph says a man's age versus the age of the women who look best to him.
Mm-hmm. They have tons of it. I think that there was a book published. I'm actually confident that that was all based on OkCupid's research. And so, I mean,
I would think you could mine the data a lot where you're like, here's who they click on, here's who they click through to.
Right,
right.
But I mean, who do guys write to or whatever?
Right.
And it's 20-year-olds.
I could see clicking on the 20-year-olds. You're like, oh, here's an attractive woman. I want to learn more about this person. Right.
Super interested to look into the data more.
We have to investigate this more. We owe it to our listeners to look into this data more.
Yeah.
Our listeners have high expectations of us, and they're going to really want us to understand this a lot more.
I think that the takeaway for me is that I should be aiming to date guys that are roughly in their 90s. Because that's probably the group that I'll look attractive to.
Yeah. Speaking of meeting the listeners' needs, now we got listener complaints last week. Because we did not do the gummy bear update. So let's get that going. Yeah. We have time for one segment, which is Gummy Bear.
Yeah, it is.
Then we will wrap this
sucker up.
Yeah.
Our death and taxes episode.
This is our death and taxes episode. You're so right.
Okay, let's zero it out.
That might be the first time the term death and taxes ever used in a podcast episode title.
Probably.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
3.87. All right.
Yeah, we got it written down.
You got to talk now. Talk about death and taxes. Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, Benjamin Franklin. So also, just dear listeners, just so you know, I brought some chocolates from Texas, and they had one that was a milk chocolate bar with gummy bears in it.
The question is, how big a chocolate bar would you have to submerge 3 of these guys in?
Well,
times 4 squares.
Well, this weighs 5 pounds. I would guess that the amount of chocolate per gummy bear weight in that chocolate bar was maybe 5-to-1 ratio, 3-to-1.
I think the chocolate is less dense than the gummy. This is a question for not Euclid. Anyway.
For Copernicus.
For Copernicus. Copernicus, what's more dense? If your name is Copernicus, please write in and tell us if gummy is...
Tell us about your life, because I'm so interested in someone named Copernicus in modern day.
So if I put 3 gummy bears on one end of the balance and how much of that chocolate square, I'm thinking maybe half of one of those squares. I don't know.
I think we need... Okay, so this gummy bear weighed 5 pounds.
You need 12 of them. That's 60 pounds. How many pounds of chocolate do you need?
Right. I think we need more chocolate
than gummy bears.
Yeah.
120 pounds of chocolate.
At least.
All right.
Maybe more.
Obviously,
We're gonna work
this
this
is for
out.
the same company as the 250-pound gummy bear. Now we're moving 180 pounds of.
God, I gotta pull up that one site. Okay. So these are the people that make the world's largest gummy bear. And this is what they have for their employee pages, right?
Yeah.
Joey, who loves disc golf, racquetball, and how consistently delicious pineapples are.
Yeah.
His skills, highly trained sense of smell. And now if you click on him, though, or something, or I think if you click or hover on him, then, yeah, see? They all change. I'm like, man, you guys are truly professional. And
Right. And you know what? You don't even get his job.
yeah, but right, they do have the boss.
Wow,
If
that's
you
a
keep
lot.
going down, there's like
It takes a lot of people to make the world's largest gummy bear.
Well, they mostly make videos apparently.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they're the boss lady. She's a PhD in biochemistry and molecular biology, and
Yeah.
the brains of the operation.
Oh, question mark. And her picture is more or
Yeah,
less
she's like, I'm not going to.
I'm
do
not
that
doing this
I'm
silly
not doing
shit,
that retarded shit. Okay,
Jamie, cut it out.
Yeah, he has a PhD in nothing and does not speak Italian, French, or German.
Yeah.
So-
He and Allison are married, I imagine, and he's the goofball.
Yeah.
I would know nothing about this scenario.
They're big breadwinners making videos.
Yeah.
Like, I think that they make more money from making videos. They've got the largest stage in the Midwest, blah, 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 blah. It's like the weirdest company I've ever seen. I don't understand their, like, business
How do you
proposition
make
at
money
all.
making videos anyway? Like, maybe if there was a
That's
button.
what we're trying to do, man. Like, yeah, how do we do it? How do we do it?
Well, if we ever figure out how they make money or how you can make money recording YouTube videos,
Yeah.
we will let you know. Until then, Kalyn, I
Cue the
think.
music.
Oh, you took my line. I said I'm going to take your line. This is not financial or investing advice.
And cue the music. Do it again.
We
do
are
it. Do
again.
It. Do it.
How do you cue the music when the music's already been cued? We're gonna cue. Okay, when we go edit, we're gonna layer in another track of the music. And it's gonna. You can't dance to this stuff. It's like hearing the BattleBots people say "Fight." So like and subscribe and and comment and
5 stars.
share it on with us. Give us 5 stars.
Yeah.
All right. Remember, this is not. Oh, we already said that. Damn.
Say goodbye.
I'm so kerfuffled by this. All these music cues
word,
going off. Kerfuffled. I'm old school. That's why I date 20-year-olds. All right. With that, I'm gonna go meet a 20-year-old. See you later.